There we go. You see me better? So you guys, today's topic is gonna be let's talk about let's go Brandon. And it's kind of interesting. I might go off a little bit on the light. I might go out like this a little bit, just a simple reason that I don't want to turn on this light is too bright, and I'm not in my YouTube studio. But so I wanted to talk about. I just wanted. What I wanted to say is that you could tell how people here in America, or in other countries, so to speak, but I'm talking about specifically here in America, how people get caught up in politics and everything else, right? So here you have people screaming, "Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon!" Right? And I just saw something that's very, it's disturbing, and it's disturbing because when you go out and you speak about something, you're supposed to know what you're speaking about, right? Well, that's what you want to do, right? So I want to show you something. And this is how scary thing is. This all goes back to the "Let's Go Brandon" thing. But I want to show you. I want to show you something so you guys can see something. I want to show you something, right? Look, I want you to hear something, and I want you to tell me, is this not disturbing to you? Okay, hold on, all right?
But it's something that I don't.
All right.
What little bit, the
Listen to
basics
this.
of
Just listen to this. Listen to this, guys.
In the governor's race here in Virginia.
All right,
getting
so
back to
so
the
so
basics.
he's asked.
Governor's race here in Virginia. An issue in the
He's asking this guy, a Republican, right? Because tomorrow it's that there's a lot of votes in a lot of states, and tomorrow there's a vote in Virginia for the governor, right? So he's asking this Republican, what's the most important thing in Virginia? So this is the answer of this Republican. Now this is a scary thing.
in the governor's race here in Virginia.
Getting back to the basics of teaching children, not teaching them critical race theory.
And what is critical race theory?
Well, I'm not going to get into the specifics of it because I don't understand it that much, but it's something that I don't.
Oops, sorry, hold on, guys. Oops.
What little bit that I know, I don't care for.
And what have you heard that you don't
Well,
that you
I'm
don't
not.
like?
I'm not going to. You know, I don't. I don't have that much knowledge on it, but it's
Okay.
something that I'm not. That I don't care for.
What's the most important issue in the governor's race here in Virginia?
Getting back to the basics of teaching children, not teaching them critical race theory.
And what is critical race theory?
Well, I'm not going to get into the specifics of it because I don't understand it that much, but it's something that I.
All right, so here we go.
What little bit.
So we never, as growing up, we never heard of what critical race theory was, because that to be honest with you, that didn't exist. So we were just taught history, and we were taught American history, right? Well, we weren't teaching the basic things of history. So what critical race theory, what it means is that they want to teach you, they want to teach your kids what are the ramifications of what happens to something. So in other words, we'll go to the things of race of slavery, right? So they teach you in school that the slaves were brought from Africa, this and that, and they were brought here to the United States in order, for the slaves to work in crops and stuff like that, pick cottons and stuff like that, right? So that's part of the history, right? Christopher Columbus came to the Americas, never reached the United States, but went to the Caribbeans and founded the Caribbeans. But that's as far as they go, right? But when you hit critical race theory, all that compounds, and what it teaches you is that the outcome of what happened with slavery, slaves were beaten, slaves were raped, slaves were killed, and that's the honest to God truth. They don't teach you that the majority of people who owned slaves were women. That is true. In the case of Christopher Columbus, then he come out with saying that Christopher Columbus came to the Americas, but he raped the Taínos Indians. He raped the Arawak Indians. He enslaved them. He killed them. That's where critical race theory comes from. So if you want to learn something about one thing, you have to learn the other thing about the other thing, right? So that's what critical race theory is. So when you have people like this that don't know what they're talking about, but yet they're giving an opinion of something that they don't know about, and yet they're still voting for a person because that person says that critical race theory should not be taught in school, but you don't know what critical race theory is, then that's bad. You're just voting because of the party. You're not voting because of the person, and that's bad. Now, what I wanted to talk about, let's go Brandon, is that this happened like last week when the race driver Brandon won the race. And everybody was going, let's go Brandon, let's go Brandon, right? So some idiot picked up and said, fuck Joe Biden. That's what they were saying. That's not what they were saying. But Trump Jr. took that and made it into a meme. And everybody started going. So you see senators and you see this and you see that saying, let's go Brandon, right? Which is stupid. What I wanted to teach today in this video is that you guys blame the president, not just this president. It could be Joe Biden, could be Donald Trump, could be Hillary Clinton, could be anybody that was president or was president, was going to be president, or let's put in general, whoever was the president at the time. Everybody blames the president of the United States for a lot of things that they should be blamed for. Okay? You cannot blame the president of the United States for gas prices because the president has nothing to do with gas prices. You cannot blame the president for a lot of things, laws being made, because it's not up to the president. Now, people blame Biden for a lot of things. People blame Trump for a lot of things, but you have to understand that these two individuals or these presidents, they don't do nothing unless Congress says so. Okay? So if a law is going to get passed, it has to go through Congress. Congress is the one that makes up the law, comes up with the idea. They throw it out in the Senate. They throw it out in the House of Representatives. And those two houses have to come into an agreement. And once those two houses come into an agreement, then the president signs it. And if the president chooses not to sign it, he can veto it. And it goes back to the Senate and the House. And even they can vote, they can sign it into law, even if the president vetoes it. All right. So who has the most power? Who has the most power in the United States of America? Not the president of the United States. It's Congress. So before you blame Joe Biden, before you blame Donald Trump, you have to blame Congress. Those are the people that you elected to become congressmen and women, senators, House of Representatives. They're the ones who make up the law, right? So then the president is just a puppet, to be honest with you. He or she is just there to sign this, say hi, to put a head, all right, on a statue, to put a head on a representation that he represents the United States. But who pulls the string? It's Congress. Why do you think that we have that our medical bills are so high? Why do you think that our prescription drugs are so high? Why? Because the big farmers, they send lobbyists. A lobbyist is a person that I pay for to advocate for my drug or to go against my drug or to go against someone else's drug. It's an advocate that goes to Congress and talks to Manchin or talks to Rand Paul. Listen, I need this to pass. If you can pass me this law, if you can pass me this article, you can pass me this, I'll make sure that I'll donate money to your campaign. Or I'll make sure something gets open in your name. I'll make sure you get something. And then Rand Paul, Mitch McConnell, or whoever it is, it could be Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, it doesn't matter. Goes in front of the Senate or goes in front of the House of Representatives and says, you know what? I writes up a draft, an article, that I want to put this in motion, and gives his or her point, and then the House votes on it. And if it votes on it right, then it goes to the president. That's how it's worked here in the United States of America. So Big Pharma pays the lobbyist, and the lobbyist pays the senator, man or woman, it doesn't matter. So they're the one who's running the show. Okay, they're the one who's saying, you know what, this needs to be up. When you saw, the one thing you can blame the president is the people that he chooses, because When President Trump was here, he chose a billion. His club was called the Billionaire Club, because they all were billionaires and millionaires. None of them had, none of them had none of them had the experience to where they were at. All right, the Joys, everybody, they were the $1 million club. Right? He did everybody a favor, gave him a job. He even gave a job to Woody Johnson, the Jets owner of the New York Jets, attaché to Europe. What the hell does this man knows anything about Europe, or what is he doing? Nothing. But that's his boy. All right? Did the George do anything for the educational system here in the United States? No. Did everyone that Donald Trump put in office, did they do something in their perspective? No. Did Ben Carson do anything for HUD? No. Because Carson is a head surgeon. He's a neurosurgeon. How are you going to put a neurosurgeon to control HUD when he knows nothing about HUD? He did it because it was a minority. He wanted to have a minority person in that, but that was it. That was it. You could take someone who worked at HUD, or you could take someone who worked at HUD, they knew about HUD, or people. I don't want to get into that, but so you see everybody chanting, "Fuck Joe Biden, fuck Joe Biden." You can tell when these people chant that, and you see that, how easily a person can be manipulated, right? And you just saw what I just showed you in the video prior to this. I mean, another video prior to this. What I just showed you about that man saying that he doesn't want critical race theory to be taught in school, but he doesn't know what critical race theory is. So there are thousands and millions of people who are just like that man that don't know anything about critical race theory, doesn't know anything about capitalism, doesn't know how socialism works, doesn't know how racism works, doesn't know anything. But when it comes, because he's a Republican or he's a Democrat, they're going to believe this person because it comes from that party. How are you going to say on national TV that you just want what's good for the country and you don't want critical race theory to be taught in school when you don't know what critical race theory is? You're just listening through your ass because this person's a Republican. And I'm going to go over what this person said. Look how conniving and shiesty Donald Trump is. Colin Powell passed away and he mocked Colin Powell. His son mocked Colin Powell. Why did he mock Colin Powell? Because Colin Powell is a Republican, but at the end of his time, he went more to the left. He was more central than anything else, because the Republican Party people, if you come to believe the Republican Party is not what it used to be years ago. The Republican Party did fight for a lot of people. They really did. But their ideas are always obstruct. Their ideas, they just don't fight for you anymore. They fight for a party. They fight in cahoots. They're in cahoots against who's going to be the bigger person. They're so afraid that they will go with Donald Trump and say, you know what, F this. I'm going to go with him because if I don't go with him, I'm going to lose my constituents. I'm going to lose my votes. They prefer throwing down their dignity than to say, you know what, on January 6th, there was an insurrection. You know what? Donald Trump did commit a treacherous act. Donald Trump did commit he lied to the country when he went to Ukraine. When he spoke to the president of Ukraine and said, "I want you to get things done." He did do all his pro quo, so he deserved to get impeached. But they don't go with that. They prefer going on his side because they're afraid to lose. So they prefer selling the soul to the devil than giving the soul to God. That's the way it is. Marjorie Greene, she's a disgrace to the Republican Party. She's a disgrace to Georgia, but yet she spews stupidity. She just gave $50,000 to the Donald Trump's media campaign because Donald Trump is opening up a new media. I guess I don't know, a new media platform like Facebook and stuff like that. And she donated $50,000 to that platform. These people don't know how to think for themselves. So the Republican Party prefers aiding with Donald Trump and said, if I stay with him, if I ally with him, my constituents going to stay with me. Instead of saying, no, you know what? Nah, fuck this. What you did was wrong, and I'm going to stand by the people who voted for me. Not for you, but voted for me. And that's a shame. You know what's funny, though? Talking about that, everybody talking about there was voter fraud, right? But yet, the cyber ninjas spent $3 million, which was led by the Republican Party, $3 million they spent on an audit. And in that audit that they did, it came out that Joe Biden got more votes than what it was original. Isn't that stupid? Don't you feel stupid? And then Trump tried to refute that and said, "Oh, that was a lie." They were under pressure to say that. So when anything doesn't go with this man's way, he tries to lash out. And when you're working in the Republican, if you're a Republican or a Democrat, and you're working and you say to yourself, "I'm going to ally myself with this person because I don't want to lose the vote, so I don't want to lose the constituents." And even though this person is wrong, but you're still going to hang out with this person, then there's something wrong with you. Listen, guys, I'm neither here nor there. What I can tell you about politics here in this country that it sucks. There's no reason why Nancy Pelosi should be there. She's an 80-year-old woman who knows nothing about you and I. She doesn't know anything about our needs, but yet she's up there. This woman is worth $200 and some odd million, guys, but yet she's in Congress. Schumer is in Congress. Mitch McConnell is in Congress. All these people are old. What are they doing in Congress? They don't know our needs. They don't know what we need. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, it doesn't matter. They don't know our needs, but yet they're up there trying to fight for us, which they're not. They're fighting for them. They're fighting for the big pharmaceutical companies. They're fighting for this. Just recently, it came out about some news about some medication. Do you see anyone advocating for that instead of this? No. So it's their own agenda. So when you have people scream, let's go Brandon, because Donald Trump Jr. and his stupid dumb self, it's like, oh, look at the racetrack. They were saying go for Biden when they were not saying that. They were saying let's go Brandon. This just tells you how people are easily manipulated and how people can easily be manipulated. A lot of things people don't know. A lot of people, one of the things that you don't know that the states won't tell you is that the Chinese people are buying farmland in our country as we speak, and they're paying double. If you don't believe me, go look it up. They're paying double for what the property is really worth. They're buying land. Why do you think that? Think about it. Right? I'm not trying to say anything. I'm not trying to sound anything spiritual like that. Or they're going to come from China, come over here. No, but they're buying land in mass. And a lot of people don't know that, but they're buying a lot of land in mass, and they're paying double to sometimes triple of what that land is worth. There's a reason why. So, and I wanted to get this to the Let's Go Brandon thing because a lot of people get caught up on stupid stuff. Here we are, 9 months, 10 months after, 11 months after the votes, after the president got sworn in, and we're still debating that this is a lie. We're still debating that this is this. We're still debating. Come on, this needs to stop. You have to stop listening to these fools, these Republicans, and these Democrats. You gotta stop listening to them, and you have to start doing your own. You get paid because you work. You gotta do you. Don't do what they say. Don't go to rallies. I believe. It does not matter how many rallies you go to. It really doesn't. At the end of the day, they're gonna do what's best for them, not what's best for you. This is the only developed country in the world that doesn't have universal health care. The only country in the world that has the most incarcerated people in any nation. The majority is Black Americans, African Americans. They're the majority. They're the majority. Right? You go to other countries, you see, I'm talking about developed countries, that have the same demographic that we do. They have the same GDP. They have a strong economy. You don't see them going through what we're going through. Here we fight for every petty little thing. For every little petty thing. We don't get along with our brothers because either he or she's a Republican or Democrat. Either he or she's a Catholic or a Protestant. I don't like the way he dressed. I don't like the way she dressed. He's gay. I'm not hanging out with him. She's a lesbian. I'm not hanging out with her. She drives. It's just out of stupid shit. It's stupid shit this country fights for. Right? And then when you follow stupid people like Donald Trump Jr., who does nothing for this country, who doesn't do he reminds me, he's a slush. Don't you see when he gets all coked up? He's a slush. He tries to put himself, or he tries to better himself like his
And
dad.
I know I don't care for.
You know? And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we, instead of bracing ourselves, instead of saying, you know what, let's do this. This is our country. Let's unite. Stop saying immigration. Stop saying immigrant. Go back to your country if you don't like it in America. This is my country, bro. This is not you. We were born and raised here, yes. But if you look back at the country, and this is where critical race theory comes in. This country was raped. This country was murdered. This country was fought over blood from Indians. This country belonged to Mexicans. To Mexico, bro. If you look at the chart, Texas, New Mexico, Las Vegas, California, all that belonged to Indians and Mexicans. All right? Until the Spanish War came and Spain came over and killed everyone. All right? And the English came and they killed everyone. They brought diseases and they brought this. And they didn't amicably say, you know what? Let's work with these people. And we can come to an accord and see if we can share the land. No. They killed everybody in sight. They ravaged everything because that's what Europe could do. That's what Europe is known for. There's no great history in Europe. England doesn't have a great history. Britain, they don't. But so instead of you saying, no, get out of my country, think about how your parents, how your great grandparents came to this. Your grandparents are immigrants. They came to this country. They weren't born here, right? They were brought here. And then when you say to a black person, go back to Africa, go back to your country, they're in their country, all right? Because their ancestors were slaves 400 and some odd years ago. They were brought from Africa over here to do a job that a white person, why did it enslave white people? Right? To do a job that a white man should be doing. And then you enslave them, and then you tell them, because according to the law, that if you have a slave, after they finish their job with you, you're supposed to give them a certain amount of land. And that land was not given to them. All right? So, where is it? Where is that land? I don't see it. Do you see it? Do you see black African Americans getting land? Getting what belongs to them? No. Right? When slave was cut off, when slave was said, they abolished slave, white men said, we need to get paid for not having these black people. So they actually went to the government and said, you need to pay us because we lost wages, we lost money because we no longer have these slaves to work these farms. Motherfucker, you got kids, don't you? Have your kids work that land. Well, back in those days, right? But they didn't do that. All right? When France took over Haiti, Haiti was the only country in the world that fought for its independence and won. And won. And then the French government had the audacity to tell Haiti, you gotta give us back money for the land that we lost. Ain't that some bullshit? And then the United States was with France. So both of them putting pressure on Haiti. That's why Haiti is so poor, people. Haiti is poor because the people of Haiti, not because it's just corrupt, because it's corrupt, don't get me wrong. But to the process of where it got corrupt, Haiti had to give most of its GDP to France. And the United States was backing up France and saying, if you don't give them the money, we're going to go after you. All right? So that's the history of this beloved country. So when you say to someone, an African American, go back to your country, think about the shit that you're saying. It's called stupidity. Because they're in the country. They were brought here. They were forced here. So when you see a man like that man say that he doesn't know what critical race theory is, then that person shouldn't even they shouldn't even be able to vote. All right? Because how can you make an opinion on something that you don't know? I would never make an opinion on something that I don't know. I would never make a fool of myself and say, oh, I don't want critical race theory taught in classes. Why not? I think it's wrong. But what is critical race theory? Well, I don't know. But it doesn't sound cool. Or it's something I don't want my kids to learn. You know how stupid and ignorant you sound? And that's the right wing now. The right. Look, let me tell you something. Any country. Let me tell you. This is not to offend nobody. But any government that can keep you in the level of an educational level so low that you don't know the difference between critical race theory or anything like that to that effect, then for them it's good because if the people of this country or any country was to be educated, and I'm talking about educated, we wouldn't be going through what we're going through right now. We would have never had Donald Trump for a president. We would have never had Joe Biden for a president. And that's the fact. All right? But if the government can keep your knowledge to this level, then they won. Because they don't want you to know the whole entire thing. They don't want you to. They keep talking about socialism is bad. They don't want you to know the truth about socialism. Because if you wake up and you know the truth about socialism, you'll be like, oh my God, this is what I want. Go look at other countries. How other countries do it with Medicaid. How other countries do with jobs. How they're doing great. How their recidivism in jail is not even high like there is in the United States. How when you go to jail in other countries, you get rehabilitated. The recidivism rate is low because they get educated in jail. Not here, they throw you in prison and that's it. Yes, there are some prisons that have school, but when you go to prison, you have to watch your back. You have to do this. You have to do that. When you go to other countries and you go to prison, they treat you like a human being despite of what you did. I mean, now granted, if you rape somebody, that's a whole different story, you know. But still, a human being is a human being, especially a first-time offender. You don't want someone who did a petty crime to go to jail, have a bad experience, and say, you know what? And then recidivism happens when the people keep doing the same thing over and over again. So if a person goes to jail on domestic violence and does not get taught in that jail about domestic violence, what he or she needs to know, you're gonna come back out and say, you know what? I'm gonna do it again because that's what I know how to do. If a person goes for stealing and doesn't get get taught, you know what? Stealing is no good. We all know stealing is no good, but you know, you teach that person, or the person has no high school diploma, and you give that person a high school diploma. So when they come out, they say, you know what? I got myself my high school diploma. They can feel good about themselves. You know what? I made a mistake. I owned up to my mistake. And through my mistake, this is what I gained. I gained a high school diploma. Now either I'm going to go to college or I'm going to go to trade school. I prefer trade school. I'm going to go to trade school and I'm going to learn something. So I can, you know what? So if I became an electrician, I can open up my own business. If I became a plumber, I can open up my own business. If I become a hairstylist, I can open up my own business. Right? And when you open up your own business, what you do, you hire people. When you hire people, what you do, you give people jobs. So that means that this person is able to pay their rent, is able to pay the car bills, is able to pay health insurance, is able to pay for child care. That's another important thing that this country lacks is child care. All right. In this bill right now that's going through Congress right now, the Republicans are saying no. And are you aware? Child care here in the United States is expensive. So this bill that they want to pass now, it says that all you get to pay is 7% of your income for child care. 7%, guys. So that means if you're making $2,500 a month, all right, 10% of $2,500, that's $250. You're paying less than $250 a month for child care. That's less. So it doesn't come out of the pocket of the company, right? So that means that your company doesn't have to pay you more for childcare. The company should pay you more, right? Because you have to pay this. You have to pay 7% of your thing. But it doesn't cost the company much. It doesn't cost the company anything. And yet the right wing don't want it. A bill that benefits everybody, right? Everybody. Another thing, welfare. Everybody says, African Americans are on welfare. Black Americans are on a government assistance program. But yeah, the reality is that a lot of people don't pay attention to this, that most people who are on these government assistance programs are white, right? The top 10 states of the United States of America who are on government assistance programs are Republicans. And it's not me saying it, it's the facts. I'm not one to say, you know what, you're Republican, so you're I'm not like that because I believe that if a person is in dire need and needs assistance, I'm all for that. Because I can't see no one starve. This is the great nation that we are, and you go to Los Angeles on Skid Row, and that's sad. You go to Philadelphia. I just saw a video there of Philadelphia of a place, I think it was called Kingston, something like that. Don't hold me to it. But you see people in the streets all drugged up and they don't do nothing. But yet, if we rounded up these people and you say, you know what? We're taking you to a hospital. You're going to get medicated. You're going to get rehab whether you like it or not. People in the civil rights movement say, you're violating my rights. But yet, here you are. You talk shit that these 20 people are out there in the streets. They are not doing nothing. They're not contributing nothing to society. They're taking away their lives. They're ruining their lives. So here we come. We want to take them off the street, give them some form of rehab, whether they like it or not. And hopefully within that rehab, they can come and say, you know what? I'm messing up. I need rehab. Let me stay here. Not all of them are not going to do it. But if you can get 3 or 4 or 5 people to do that, then you're doing a good job. But no, because if you take these people out of there, and you, God forbid, you want to take them to a rehab center, and you want to rehabilitate them, you're violating their rights. So shit, you're screwed if you do, you're screwed if you don't. You can't help a person out because it's violating their rights. You can't do this because you're violating their rights. So what do? Don't you want to help this person out, but you can't because you can't because the people are going to cry foul. So the same way with abortion. Here you have abortion. They say Texas says you have to have a kid. So if you get raped, you have to have a kid. If you get incest, you have to have a kid. If you have this, you have to have a kid. Okay? So here you are, because it goes against the Bible. Whoa, no, we don't, but hey, that's enough. So here you go. Texas wants you to have your baby. So here you go, a little 14-year-old girl gets raped, right? By whomever has that baby because Texas does not allow her to get an abortion, right? And the girl decides, have the baby. So when that child decides, or that person, even an adult, decides to go and get government assistance program, the state goes, no, you cannot have a government assistance program. We don't want you on welfare. You're on your own. You have to work for your shit. This is what you do. This is what the American people do. We work for our own stuff. But you're sending a kid to have a baby, but you don't want that kid or that person to have a government assistant help, but you were the one that told him to have that baby. This person is 18 years old. This person has no education. This person doesn't know how to drive. This person doesn't know how to do this. This person doesn't have a home. This person lives with his parents. And you want this person to have a baby, but yet you don't want to help him. You don't want to help her out. Right? Doesn't make any sense. And then the foul thing about it is that you tell a woman what you can do with or you can't do with your body, right? You tell a woman, you punish a woman by saying you cannot do an abortion, but yet you don't punish the man that got that girl pregnant. So everything falls on a woman. But what happened to the man that got her pregnant? So she cannot have an abortion, but you don't punish the man that got her pregnant because it takes 2. So why don't you make a law that states that in pregnancy, if that child is his, he's gonna have to pay child support. Or if not, he goes to jail. Right? Not pay child support from the beginning of pregnancy when pregnancy starts, no, because the state already established that you cannot have an abortion, but you establish child support the minute you find that child is yours. Once the DNA comes out and says that's your child, you start paying child support, even if it's not born. Then this will maybe reduce the irresponsible men who decides to ejaculate inside a woman instead of using a condom and say, nah, I'm not gonna come inside this girl or this woman because I'm sorry to talk that way, but I'm not gonna come inside this girl because she's gonna get pregnant. And I don't want to have that baby. I don't want to be paying the child support because men are lazy. There's nothing. What, you don't know how to fucking pull out? That's so easy. It's easy. Wear a condom. Women use some contraceptive. Use birth control. It takes 2 people for you to get pregnant, for a female to get pregnant. 2, the man and the woman. So it falls on both of them. So I don't know why they're punishing the woman on an abortion, but they don't punish the man. And I'm a man. And I thank God that I've never done that something so stupid as to just to get her pregnant just for the hell of it. That's never been my thing. Because I am responsible enough. I chose to become a father. That's a two different things. I just didn't say, oh, you know what, Tommy's going to come inside. No, I didn't do that. Because I knew that if I got this woman pregnant, I was incapable of taking care of her. I was incapable of taking care of a child. So why would I bring a child to this world for that child to suffer? Because I know the mother's not stable, and I was not stable. And if I'm not stable, I don't care how stable the mother is. I'm still not, and if I'm not stable, I'm not going to do it because I want to spend time with my kid. I want to be in my kid's life. I don't want to be like my father. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to repeat that cycle. So I want to be in my kid's life. I want to enjoy my kid's school. I want to enjoy his crazy. I want to enjoy his first grade, his first boo. I want to enjoy my daughter's first this, her first graduation, her first broken heart. I want to experience all that with my kid. But if I'm not stable, how am I supposed to provide? Because a lot of men also have a tendency that I work, I give you money, I give the kid money, and that's it. No, it's more than that. Money isn't everything. Being in a kid's life, a kid would appreciate you more if you didn't buy him nothing or buy her nothing, and you spend time with your child. A kid appreciates that more. I used to have my daughter put makeup on me and do my nails and all that kind of stuff. I spend time with her. I spend time with my daughter. So I don't need to give money. Money helps, but it's not everything in a child's life. A child would appreciate it more if you spend time with your child than you giving that child money. And we living in a backwards. We live in a world that's unfortunate. We have irresponsible men and irresponsible women. But to put the blame on a woman and say you cannot get an abortion, then you have to carry that, because people don't understand. A woman has a lot of people. A lot of women out there say, "Oh, you know what? She can give it up for adoption," but it's not easy. All right, I've spoken to a woman that says, "Gio, it's not easy when you have that child inside you." For 9 months, you become attached to it. Unless you become totally detached. As to some woman, they say, I'll carry your baby for X amount of dollars. That's a whole different story. But when you have a baby inside you, that baby is part of you. So to detach yourself from that baby after 9 months after that baby has touched you, has kicked you, has punched you, has kept you up awake, to give that up because you want me to give my child up for adoption, it's hard. The person be like, Gio, I think of my child's birthday. I think of my child. Why did I do this? Why did I do that? They don't want to feel regrets. So people before people start talking shit that they don't know, they should talk to some people and say, I've never seen it from your perspective. Right? We all go against not me. People go against the homosexual community. Oh, this is a sin. This is that. It's a sin to who? To you? Because the Bible that you read told you that homosexuality is wrong, but you don't know the meaning of what that meant for homosexuality. Okay, and I'm going to repeat it to you guys. Homosexuality in the Bible says when two straight men had sex, that's an abomination. Two straight men. That's what was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. That the angels came from heaven. They were having sex with men. And men, when they got drunk, they were having sex with each other. And that's a no-no. It doesn't say anything about if you like a man. No, that's a no-no, because that goes against God. Two straight men. But when two men, they grow up together and they know that they feel different from inside. That they don't feel that attraction to a woman. That they don't feel attraction to the opposite sex. That they feel an attraction to themselves. They feel attraction to the same sex. You cannot say that's the devil, because the devil cannot control your mind. The devil cannot control you. I'm sorry. God never gave the devil that kind of power. He doesn't have that power. So you don't say that's a devil's thing. No, it's not. A devil's thing is when two straight men stick together. But when two men or two women, when they're born and they feel differently and they feel an attraction for the same sex, that's not something that you can say, oh, God's not going to like you because of that. Because who are we to judge? We don't know that. Just because the Bible says homosexuality, it meant that in those days, shit, when people were having seizures in those days, they thought they were possessed because they didn't know what seizures were. They didn't know. So the term homosexuality has come into a whole different light nowadays. It's totally different. So when you speak about homosexuality, why don't you sit down with a gay or lesbian person or with a transgender and ask them, why are you gay? What did you feel? Put yourselves in their shoes. Talk to somebody. Talk to the LGBTQ community and speak with somebody there. Open your eyes and say, you know what? This could be true. You know, I see it differently. Don't go by because what your pastor said or what the Bible said. Because if you have to understand the Bible's not just opening it up and that's reading it and you take everything literally. You have to understand what the Bible says. When this talks about something, you have to go through other passages and go back from the New Testament to the Old Testament, from the Old Testament to the New Testament. That's how you can correct things. But to say, oh, he's gay, so he's going to go to hell? No. You're judging a person already when the Bible says don't judge. It's ridiculous, right? So we become so attached to these to the earthly things that we taking away our responsibility as humans, as to helping out the other man, as to helping this, as to helping that, and it's sad. And when you see the government is manipulating you, people, this country and any country, the government manipulates you, and you don't see that. When you go say, "Let's go, Brandon," you know how stupid you sound. Instead of blaming the president, I'm talking about the president of the United States. I'm not talking about Joe Biden. I'm talking about any president. Before you blame the president of the United States, blame Congress. Because they're the one that passes the law. They're the one who decides your fate. Like when Joe Biden said the other day when he did his forum, when he says, I have 50 senators in Congress, and any of them could be president. It means that they have the power. They have the power to veto any decision that the president decides to do. They do. So you tell me who has more power. Because all the president does is signs it. I'm going to make this into law. Or I'm going to veto it. Like last year when President Trump wanted to pass the military bill. He wanted to fund, he wanted to give more money to the military. That was towards the end of his presidency. And he signed it. He signed it. But Congress vetoed it. So what he signed, Congress vetoed, because Mitch McConnell said we were going to do it. So they vetoed it. Think about that. They vetoed something the president already signed for. So that's just tells you how much power Congress has. Congress has more power than the president of the United States. But the media will not tell you that. Congress won't tell you that. The president's not going to tell you that because his power is limited, right? The president won't tell you that, but King Geo is going to tell you. Don't be fooled to say gas prices are up because of the president of the United States. No, because the president of the United States have nothing to do with gas prices at all. The gas prices are high because it's called supply and demand. When we got hit with this pandemic, everything shut down. Less cars, less production. People don't go out, people don't drive that much. So you're going to spend less on gas, so gas will go down. Now, the pandemic, the restriction has loosened. More people out on the streets. So that means more people, more cars, more cars, more gas. So it's called supply and demand. But you see, these people here on the right would say to you, whoa, President Joe Biden's, he got his gas prices and if you're not smart enough, you say, yeah, that's the president's fault. Like that man said, he doesn't know anything about critical race theory. So you will blame the president. But yet you don't see that last year also, or 2 years ago, gas prices were at $3 when Donald Trump was president. But I never, and I watch news and I follow politics. And when the gas prices hit, I did not see one Democrat say, look at the gas prices under Trump. Look at the gas prices under Trump. Why? Because the Democrats or any sound-minded person who knows anything about business, who knows anything about math, knows that this is a supply and demand thing. They know that the president has no say in the price of gas. None at all. So when you say these are going up, no, inflation is up because of President Biden. No, it's not. Has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with that. When Donald Trump was president, the Republicans jumped on board with the stimulus. Biden did the stimulus. No one, not one Republican said, okay. Not one. Think about that. Not one said, okay, let's better the American people. Let's get money in their pocket because that's called, I put money in your pocket, you're going to spend it. That goes back to the economy with the taxes and all that. So it raises some capital. That's what the stimulus was for, is to raise some capital and to keep people out of poverty. Now, people with a stimulus check, now they're getting $300 for children or whatever the case may be. They need their money. They're buying into stuff. Some people are not buying what they need. They're just buying what they want and they're spending the money foolishly. Let's admit it. But there are those who are taking that money, who are investing in their children, who are truly saying to themselves, I'm going to take this money that is given to me by the government, whether it's Republican or Democrat, and I'm going to say, and I want to take care of me. I'm going to take care of my kids. I want to make sure that my kids are not suffering. I want to make sure that my kids got food, that my kids have shelter, that my bills are paid. So I don't have to worry about or wake up the next day and say, where's my money going? Where am I going to get this next $50? Where am I going to get this $20? Where am I going to get this $100? No. Okay? If you can ask anyone, let's make, the slogan, let's make America great again. To be honest with you, America's never been great. And I was born and raised in this country. And I can tell you, every 10 or 20 years there's something happening in this country. Every 4 years something happening in this country. When was this country great? The only time that I can say that this country was good economically wise was when Bill Clinton was here. Bill Clinton, he did what he did, but Bill Clinton left this country with a surplus. Something that maybe 2 presidents have done in their lifetime. A surplus, people, a surplus. Then came George W. Bush and destroyed it. Literally. Literally destroyed it. So instead of bickering what Joe Biden did or is doing, instead of bickering what Donald Trump did or didn't do, bicker about what your senator and congressman is not doing for you. Because remember, you voted them into work for you, not for the party, not for the Republican Party, but to work for you. And most of these people, the Gates, the governor of Texas, whatever his name is, and all these people, Rand Paul, all these people are working for the party. They're not working for you. They're working for the party. Pelosi and all, they're not working for the Democrats. I mean, they're not working for you. They're working for the party. A woman who's 80 years old does not belong in Congress. Plain and simple. This woman has $200 million. Take your money and enjoy your life with your kids and your grandkids. You're going to die one day. But people don't see it that way. People go, oh, I love Donald Trump. Oh, I love Joe Biden. Oh, I hate Donald Trump. Oh, I hate Donald. They go, people have no lives. They go on ranting. They spend days and days and days and minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes about ranting about Donald Trump, ranting about Joe Biden. Like, you got no life? Don't you got kids to play with? Don't you, if you're old, why don't you go to a retirement home? Go play chess. Go do something constructive. But stop bitching about something that you cannot do. There's nothing you can do about it. And even if you vote that person out, someone's going to come and replace that person and do the same shit all over again, because this is politics. So politics 101 that I wanted to teach the other day was, don't blame the president for everything that he or she does or claim to do. It's Congress, people. Congress, your senators, your House of Representatives. If things aren't going to run in your town, your mayor, your governor, those are the ones who are responsible. Those who represent your country, I mean your state or your city. Those are the ones that you got to report to. Those are the ones you got to vote out. The president just signs a piece of paper. The president is just a puppet. He's just a puppet, and Congress is a puppeteer. They pull the strings. But everything that happens in the country falls on the president. They want to push it towards the president. So when you see people say, so when you say let's go Brandon, you're becoming as stupid as Donald Trump Jr. You don't want to be that stupid. You really don't. There's not one smart bone that gets brain. I think my dog has more brain, or has more human brain cells than he does. And I'm not saying this because he's Trump. I don't give a rat's ass. But the things that comes out of his mouth are stupid. The things that come out of Marjorie Green are stupid. People have no 2 cents. People got no education whatsoever, talking shit. And yet you guys go behind these people. I wouldn't go to war with these motherfuckers if they were leader of if they were commander of a troop. I wouldn't go to war with them. They're just stupid. And if you speak stupid stuff, it's just stupid. I can't follow people like that. I have more respect if you speak to me in an educational level, or if you speak to me in your level. I have more respect for you with that. Even if you're not making that much sense, but I can understand you. Okay, cool, I understand that. That is talking stupidity and talking shit out your ass. Talking shit. How can you talk about Colin Powell? Because Colin Powell didn't go what you wanted to do at the end of his career, at the end of his legacy. He decided to go the other way because he knew that what you guys were fighting for was not the thing that he fought for. That's why, because it didn't fit your narrative, because he didn't go with your dad, if he didn't fit your narrative. That's stupid. It's just plain stupid. So when you say shit like that, let's go, Brandon, you sound stupid. You sound foolish. You sound like an idiot. They don't know how to think for themselves. So when you go behind it, when you're wearing this MAGA hat, you're following Donald Trump, you're not very bright. All right? I respect a lot of Republicans. I really do, because I have a lot of Republican friends. And I respect them. But those are friends who speak to you. They tell you what they don't speak stupidity. All right? They don't vote for the Republican Party. I mean, how stupid could you be and say, the Mexico is going to pay for a wall? And you believe that. Why would a country pay for something that you're building on your land? Does it make any sense? No. It don't. So when the Democrats tell the Republicans, oh, you know what? I want corporations to pay their fair share because they're not paying federal bills. Like when Hillary Clinton in 2016 said that Donald Trump didn't pay federal taxes, right? But that's a loophole. So he's taking advantage of that loophole. A lot of people taking advantage of that loophole. Even Democrats are taking advantage of that loophole. Because why? So if you're bitching about it and you know there's a loophole, why, if you're a Democrat, why haven't you fixed that loophole? Because why? Because you too are into that loophole. You fall somewhere along these companies that don't pay federal tax. You're a part of it. You own a share of that company. And if they pay taxes, your share will go down too. That's why Democrats don't say to themselves, let's close this loophole, because they're in that loophole too. They're benefiting from that loophole. So, so they bicker here and back and there. They really don't give a shit about you. So, like I said before, when you say to yourself, or when you spew out loud, let's go, Brandon, you're sounding like an idiot. And when you say that you don't want critical race theory teaching in schools, but you know nothing about critical race theory, you're sounding stupid. Because if you want your kids to learn about this, but you don't want them to learn about that, you can't do that. You can't say, you know what, this person was a great person, but this person was also a pedophile. This person raped so many kids. This person touched so many kids. You can't leave this out because it's bad. Because you want to remember a legacy, because this is good. Because that's your narrative. You want America, you teach America everything that's white. And it's true. You teach America everything that's white. But this country was not founded. This country was not founded by whites. This country was already inhabited by Mexicans and Indians. And through the course of that rape and in the course of that murdering people and stuff like that, the white man still, to this day, is still the same thing they did 400 or 500 years ago. You can see that with cops beating African Americans. You can see that where justice, when an African American goes into court, they get more time in the courts for the same crime that a white person does. It doesn't change. It hasn't changed. And it won't change. Because this is the way this country is. Because the more friction there is, the better it is for both parties to win. Because in another 2 years, you know what they're going to talk about in 2024? Immigration. You want to talk about 2024? Jobs. You want to talk about immigration? Policies. The same policies they talk in 2020, 2016, 2012, and 2008, and blasey is going to continue. Why there's that an immigration reform? Because it doesn't make any sense to make a permanent immigration reform, because when it comes to 4 years, then you got nothing to talk about. And also, before you start saying to people, go back to your country, look where your grandparents came from. Look where your great grandparents came from. They came from another country to this country. All right? So if you don't want to learn, if you want to learn the good things about what this person did, you also have to learn what the bad person did. Now, don't keep the good thing about slavery, or the good thing about everybody wants to talk. They believe in capitalism. You believe in capitalism, or that's the good. You tell me 10 good things about capitalism, and I can tell you 20 bad things about capitalism. Everything has its good as bad. So if you're gonna talk about one thing, you have to talk about the other, and you let that person decide. You know what? I can understand that now. I know that now. I really do. So, with that being said, people, I'm going to let you guys go. I took too much of your time anyway, so thank you guys for watching. If you have not watched the show, continue to watch it. The King Geo Show. I'm going to be off for a few days. I start a new job tomorrow. Thank you, Lord. And my merch is coming out soon. So you saw a shirt the other day. I'm making mugs now and stuff like that. So everything is correlating. It all takes time. And so I want to thank each and every one of you who have subscribed to my channel. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me. I appreciate it. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Hit that bell at the bottom. And hey, peace out, everybody. Thank you for watching. We'll see how I do this. I'm using a different thing right here. Okay, there we go. Ooh. Who's that? 12 Veils. Good evening, 12 Veils. How you doing, babe? How things in Brooklyn?